I'm Courtney.
And I'm Emily. And this is Cheers to That.
Special edition episode, Book Club.
Book Club edition is back.
Yes.
So, if you have not read Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, stop what you're doing. Unless you are okay with being spoiled. Because
if you're okay with being in the dark, literally.
Then,
or maybe you just like to raw dog it and you don't know what the book is about. You have no plans to read the book, but yet you want to listen to what the book is about.
Yeah, you want to listen to two weirdos. Just
try to summarize everything that we read. Yes.
Yeah. Then welcome. But spoilers ahead for anyone that has read or wants to read Flicker in the Dark.
Let's start with so this was our what month is it? March.
3rd.
March book club. Book that we chose, and it is a mystery book. But before we get started on the book synopsis, I would like to dive into like how our book club meeting went, because I think it's always fun to like recap even that of like how we set it up.
Yeah.
That way, if anyone ever wants to start up a book club on their own, then they kind of know where to start, because we didn't know where to start and we're still learning.
Yes.
So,
and
you hosted this time.
Yes, I did. And I feel like this time I was a little less like curated book clubby. Like it was more just chill vibes, because we only had one new person, I think, that hadn't been to book club at all before.
Yeah.
So just like we didn't do name tags in the beginning, unless we did them later in case anyone wanted them. But it was just like chill. It was way more chill. We did a nacho bar from Chewy's.
And our setup so far that we're doing is we take turns, like vice versa, hosting. And then someone even suggested like finding like a local place to go. It's just tricky around here because there aren't any like cute coffee shops or like places to go. You're going to go to like a Mexican restaurant and do a book club. And we're so loud.
No, we're so... There is always a point in book club where I like become aware of my surroundings, and I'm like, we're all screaming, like in my kitchen, like we are screaming
over a book. We're screaming, and I was reflecting on this, and I'm like, wait, because I've never been to a book club. I'm like, are other book clubs more calm and tame? Because I think this is a lot of people's first experience. I know some people, they've been in one before, but I'm like, are other book clubs, do they actually, like, we talk about the book, but we're yelling about the book.
I think we're just a rambunctious group.
We're excited.
Yes.
And we like to have fun. So it's like combining all of those things. So you hosted.
Yes.
You ordered Chewy's nacho bar, which was totally a hit. Like, that is the way to go to cater. We had everyone pitch in a couple bucks this time just to help like cover cost for you. And you even had like Chewy's delivered.
Yes.
I'm telling you, like, that is the way to go. How was cleanup for you? Was it easy?
So easy. Spoons.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
Well, because I thought about it. I was like, I could, like, help you clean up, but I was like, there was literally, it was just like there was nothing. Containers to put in the fridge. It was so nice.
So easy. It was wonderful. I got that idea from you because you did that for one of Tucker's birthdays, and it was elite.
Yes.
So
catering is the only way to go, and like a little bar situation set up where it's serve yourself, and I loved it.
So we did that, and then we usually mingle, like book club is set for 3 hours. We usually mingle for like 1 hour.
Yes, which I think is perfect, because then everyone gets a chance to, like, I got a chance to talk to other people that I like didn't get to fully talk to last time, so it was kind of fun to like do that. So you get a full hour to like just chit chat with everybody, chat,
eat, hang out. And then we moved like to my living room, and we were just talking. This one, like I said, less structured. This wasn't really a book that I felt like we could talk a lot about things like thematically. I don't know.
There wasn't a ton of depth.
No, and it was like, it's a mystery book. So we kind of went around in more like I feel like it got people's just opinions. It wasn't like
who did you think did it and why?
Yes. Who was the worst character in the book?
Yes.
Who was the best character in the book?
Which was fun because it gave everyone a chance to like give their thoughts and opinions, but it's so different. It's hard when you compare like our conversations that came from Night Bitch and how deep those got, and like everyone was able to connect to like what was the purpose of the story. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, and I like thrillers, but this one was a little bit harder, so I would like to know how other people set up their book clubs if it's like a mystery book.
I feel, I don't know. I mean, I don't
think we did it wrong.
No, I think it's just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, there's not a lot of analysis that can come from it, and there were actually like questions in the book at the back of some people's books
that were really lame.
They were lame, and they were so long and so intense, and like
I felt like I should be writing an essay over them.
Yes, it felt like what you get at the back of a textbook for school.
Yes.
Very scary. So we didn't do those. We just did fun ones. And then the most fun was that we did, well, two most funs.
I was about to say, I mean, there were, this was like my
half
favorite.
of the gold medal goes to fan casting. So
Yes.
when everyone was mingling and stuff, I decided, like, I had this thought, but I didn't actually do it. So everyone's mingling in my kitchen, and I like go and get my laptop and like being a little ninja in the living room and made like a Canva presentation thing to put on my TV, and I connected my computer to the HDMI. So on my 85-inch TV in the living room, I've got my Canva presentation, and we put like all the main characters in the book and casted who we would put if we were like casting a movie. That's what fan casting is.
That was so fun.
It was so funny.
Screaming
Yes.
names.
People
It
were
was
suggesting, we're like, no. I mean, it was like, it felt like
It almost got violent.
yes, it felt like a room full of sisters. Like, absolutely not. Wrong. And so then we got our fan casting, which Courtney posted on our Instagram. So you can look at what we posted. But
And then we compared it to the real fan
yes,
casting.
which was pretty close.
No, I was so impressed with our skills. And I love it because when we're doing book club, like the questions, it's like everyone's question, it's almost like you're in a classroom. Everyone's question is like, or answer is welcome. And we praise everyone no matter what they think. When it came to fan casting, no, that is not what I had in mind.
No one was
this
safe.
person. It was
No one was safe.
hilarious. We were all yelling and laughing.
It was so
that
funny.
was probably like the most fun at book club
Yeah.
that
No.
I've had. That was a genius idea.
Thank you. Everyone is like, forevermore we will be doing this, and
have
I'm like,
to do this.
absolutely. It was like literally all you need is a laptop and an HDMI, and we will do it. I'm like, I'll send you the template every time. I don't care, because it was so funny. And then towards the end of the night, we had like 30 minutes left, and the crowd had thinned a little bit, and so we played something called the bowl game, which my sister-in-law taught me years and years and years ago, and we play it as a family all the time. But we did it like book club edition, and also we were some of the only ones that had ever played it before. Like a couple people I think were slightly familiar, but if you've never played the bowl game before, everyone puts on a piece of paper a person, place, and thing on 3 strips, so 1 per piece, and you put it in a bowl, and there's 3 rounds of the game and 2 teams. First round, you pull your paper out, and the paper says shoe. You can use like something that goes on your foot, something that you wear, something
You
you
can
run
use
it.
an unlimited amount of words to describe the person, place, or thing,
Yes.
and then your team has to guess it. But the trick is you only have 30 seconds per your turn. So once that 30 seconds is up,
You're done.
It's the other person
Yes,
or
and
other
then-
team's turn.
Yes. So then you keep that, like however many your team guesses, you keep them out of the bowl, and those are your points for that round. Next round, you put all the same words you've already used back in, and then you act it out. You cannot make a sound. You have to act it out. But you've already seen these words, so it's like each round gets harder in guessing, but it's also easier because you've seen the word.
Yes.
So you act it out. Next round, you put all the same words back in, and you can only say 1 word. And if you say like I started getting crazy at the end, because at first, like with the first round of because people hadn't played before, so if they made a noise whenever they were acting it out, I was like, I'll let it slide. But the third round,
Game
I was like,
Master was coming out.
no. If you say you have to stand there and wait until your 30 seconds is over. And it was so fun. We were tied like the whole time. It was hilarious.
I had a freaking blast doing that, and like some of my favorite, someone put Morgan Wallen in there, and so like acting it out, someone picked up a chair and acted like throw it off a balcony.
And then like she was singing, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? Because I'd forgotten that one was in there. It was so funny.
And you can put anything. Like I put because our book had to do with Louisiana, and so randomly I put Deep South Louisiana, which is so complicated. But guess what? People ended up guessing, and that's the crazy thing is you can put like really anything in there.
That's the
and
fun is you
will end up guessing.
You can put anything. Our family
so
plays
funny.
very X-rated, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so fun. And everyone was gone by like 10:30. It was a very chill evening.
Yeah, I got in bed at a decent time on this one, and it felt great to like go have fun for a few hours, and then I got a great night of sleep. So
Beautiful, lovely. Well,
is it time to get into the book?
Let's do it. Do you want to talk about the plot?
Yeah,
you wanna do a
let's
synopsis?
give our overall rating before we get started. Like just to set the scene of like how we thought this book went.
Yeah, I don't remember your
I
rating.
think the average rating was like a 3.5, right?
No, it's 4.4.
What was it? Really? Was that high? Oh, well, that 3.5 was my rating.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
overall was 4.4. I have read a lot of thrillers, and I think whenever you've done that, you get used to like the flow, the pattern of those. And if it doesn't, if it's not up to par, you just feel like it was just kind of okay. So I guess it was just like a mediocre book. I wasn't swayed by it one way or another. Like, I don't want to necessarily read all the books by this author. It was okay. It was a good fast read though.
Yeah. It was a good, like, you're on a plane and you have a few hours read. Like, it's not something I think I'll return to.
Or an easy read if you're just getting into reading.
Yes.
Pick it up and you can read it within like if you're a slower reader, like 3 to 4 days, I would say. It's a very fast read. And I think it's a great starting point book if you're just getting into that. Bless you.
Sorry. You know, my seasons are
disturbing me. Just kidding.
Out of control. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And I really had a hard time getting into this book. It took me like 2 weeks to read it because I just wasn't wanting to pick it up. And it's not because it was bad. It's like you said, it was just like fine.
Yeah. And I think that it's a big learning curve too for like book clubs. Like, how do you find a book that's engaging for everybody, no matter what genre we pick?
Yes.
So,
but I will say, you and I were tough critics of it, and a lot of people in book club loved it.
See,
like, we're rating it. I mean, that's how we got to a 4.5.
That's so true. That makes me feel better though that I didn't, because I'm okay with it being a mediocre book.
Yeah.
It's the pressure of if everyone else thinks it's a mediocre book, then like, oh no, book club has failed this month.
Oh,
you know?
No. I think it's honestly like kind of funny if the book, it gives you something to talk about. Like, I think we had talked a lot more about like how we felt about the characters and the story this time around than we usually do. It's so much less analysis and so much more just like characters, plot, twists, turns, all that stuff.
So plot, go ahead and take off plot, and then I'll give the questions because I remember those.
Okay, so set the stage. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's like a prologue, and one of the quotes that they kept asking about was like, I thought I knew what monsters were. Dun dun dun. So Chloe Davis is a therapist in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You find out that her dad has been in prison for 20 years for being a serial killer of girls pretty close to her age, like a couple years older than her, when she was a kid. And he's been in jail. Now she's a therapist. She has a pill problem because in Louisiana, therapists can prescribe themselves medication.
Well, and the catch was she was prescribing her fiance this medication, but she was going and picking it up.
Yes.
And then storing it in her drawer and then just like popping pills
Like
whenever
Xanax.
she felt stressed.
Yes, exactly.
Real like White Lotus vibes.
But no, for my lorazepam.
I can't wait to get into that on the next episode.
So she's got a pill problem. She's engaged to this guy, Daniel, who like seems nice enough in the beginning, just like kind of milquetoast, as Connor and I like to say. Her brother's really protective of her. Weird vibes from the brother right off the bat.
So they, at the beginning of the book, she goes to her house. She's unlocking the door and she's like, something's wrong. And anyone with like trauma like that, obviously that's setting her off. Like, it's triggering her and she's thinking that someone is in her house. Well, it turns out to be a surprise engagement party from her fiance, Daniel, which you think would be sweet, but he knows her past. And so it's really like he just wasn't thinking like how that would affect her. No. But that's when her brother first shows up in the story, is at this surprise party. And he kind of takes her to the side and isolates her a little bit. And doesn't he like warn her about Daniel?
Well, he's like, he knows you hate surprises. Like, why would he do this to you? Like, really putting an emphasis on this guy sucks, basically. Like, he doesn't approve, and they get in a little bit of a fight, and she's like, I'm marrying this guy whether you're there or not.
Like, why do I need my brother to approve of my fiance?
Yes, but he's kind of taken on, like, the paternal role for her because their father went to jail whenever she was 12. I think she was 12 and her brother was 15. And it's later revealed their mom, they don't mention it for a little bit, but the mom is in, like, a palliative care situation because she tried to hang herself after everything happened. She's nonverbal.
Can't really do anything for herself anymore. Can't feed herself, and so she is. Like I saw, like at a nursing home, whatever it is. Someone's taking care of her, but she can't talk at all.
Right.
And so
it's
she really
just the two of them. Yeah, they're very
talk about like trauma bonded.
Seriously. So yeah, they have that. And then she finds out that a girl went missing. Daniel goes out of town for work.
Yes, and so she's treating teenagers, children, as a therapist, and one of the girls that she last saw at her appointment it was like on a Friday, the girl leaves her appointment and she ends up going missing.
Yes.
And she starts to connect the dots of there's a lot of similarities to when her dad was accused of these murders.
It's girls of the same age group. They're disappearing. They are finding their bodies. So the first girl, she just like joins into a search party and finds an earring and gives it to the police. And then, but she like kind of just like intermingles herself too much into the investigations, and they start getting like weird about her, suspecting she has something to do with it.
Well, and she has a past too of falsely accusing people. And we forgot to talk about this part, but I know, me too, until just now. But they do not trust her in this investigation. She's presenting all of this evidence, and she's like, I think this is going on, blah, 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 but they don't believe her. They're hesitant because she has this past of falsely accusing somebody.
Yes, her boyfriend in college, because he was cheating on her, but she thought her roommate was missing. But whenever you hear the story, it's like, oh, well, no shit, she thought her roommate was missing and murdered, but they acted like she was a psycho. So anyways, that happened. So the girls are missing. They find their bodies. Yada, yada, yada. There's a reporter that shows up and is like trying to talk to her. She's becoming increasingly more suspicious of her fiance because like things are just kind of not adding up.
He's out of town a lot. There's a smell of perfume on his jacket or whatever it is. And so there are a lot of things that whenever you're presented with these pieces of evidence throughout the book, you're thinking like, oh my God, it's the fiance.
Yeah.
Daniel
and she's
is
already
the killer.
paranoid about it. So yeah. And then, we forgot to mention Chloe, the main character, she found a box of jewelry in her dad's closet. That is how he was incriminated with killing the girls whenever she was a teenager. So she went to the police and gave them the evidence that her dad...
And she carried that burden up until the book of present day because she knows that her actions of finding that was what got her dad caught.
Yes, yes. So then eventually she finds a jewelry box in her and Daniel's closet as well. And she's like, oh my God, he's copying my dad or whatever.
He's the copycat killer.
Yes. So, I mean, through that, they're going and like, they interview Daniel's mom, which you don't know it's Daniel's mom till they get there. And she's saying like, she always thought something was weird about him. His sister had gone missing whenever they were kids. And she thought Daniel had something to do with it. And the ring that he gave her engagement ring was...
the missing sisters
ring.
And so everything's adding up and you're like, oh my God, like it's for sure Daniel. He's some copycat killer freak.
Yes. So then she's like gonna go on her own investigation of Daniel. Basically, she gets a hotel room. She sleeps with the weird reporter, which I felt like I don't really understand why that was just a necessary thing. Like it was a weird side quest. Yeah, literally. And then she sleeps for like 48 hours or something because he like drugged her.
Yes.
So then she wakes up and one of her friend's daughters is missing who's like fits the age demographic. So she is like, oh my God, I bet it's at my parents' house, my family house that we still own, but we haven't been to in a million years. So she drives to her family's like abandoned, ramshackled house and the girl is there. The reporter guy shows up and is like, oh, I called the police. And she like realizes that he didn't. He kidnapped this girl. And he's like, wait, it wasn't me. It was because of him. And then she shoots him and he dies.
Him. So then she gets no other answers.
Precisely. So, God, I feel like I don't even remember this book.
No, it just leads. So basically, just to summarize the ending, it leads you to she had talked to the mom in the nursing home. She was spending time with her, and the mom, through a form of communication with like letter identification, she spelled out, whose name did she spell out?
D-A. She thought she was going to spell out Daniel, but she was trying to put dad so that she would go talk to him.
Yes. So the mom was trying to get her to go talk to the dad because it turns out that the brother the entire time was the serial killer.
From their childhood.
Yes. So he was a teenager at the time. He was like 16 or 17, right?
15, I think.
Oh, he was 15 whenever he was murdering these girls, which is
He must have been 16 because he was driving. Either way.
But the dad took the fall for him and went to jail instead, which is why the mom mentally broke. And it wasn't the brother, though, who did the most recent killings. The brother had gotten the reporter. Like
he like convinced the reporter, who was not actually the reporter. He was just posing as that to Chloe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He was like a guy that they went to school with that was some weird loser person, and
the brother was always the cool one at school.
So he like manipulates
he was never
this guy
suspected.
Right into killing these girls in modern day, which like I don't really know how that would satisfy his need to kill, but I don't know. So it's also revealed that Daniel's sister, the one that's missing, that they're like assuming he killed at one point. She's fine. He helped her get away because their dad was abusive, and
he helped her escape a really bad situation, and so she's living like in secret somewhere, living
in like
her
Mississippi.
Own life.
It was her idea to give Chloe her ring. It's like not nefarious at all.
And every time he leaves mysteriously for work, he's going to visit his sister.
Her.
It's like, Daniel, just tell your fiance about the sister. This would have solved
we could have
so
avoided
many
so many things. And we find out that Cooper, the brother, who again was ultimately the killer, never liked Daniel because Daniel always suspected him, and Daniel was trying to go to their dad to get him to talk, and he wouldn't. So all these things that seemed very convincing that Daniel's in like doing it. He was trying to prove that Cooper had done it, and he was scared that he was going to hurt Chloe, and then
and throughout the book, it makes you think that it's Daniel the whole time. But as soon as I read about Cooper being really possessive over her, I was like, it's Cooper.
Yep.
I just like something told me that that's what it was. So
I think I was expecting like a crazier twist because I knew that the author was leading us to believe it was Daniel. So there's no way it's Daniel. And that's not because I'm so smart. That's because if you read mystery books, they are leading you in one direction, and that's
going to go the other.
Right. So, and then I thought Cooper, like, but it felt obvious-ish to me. Not that too obvious from the writer's perspective. I thought it was going to be like the mom did it, and then the husband took the fall for her, and that's why she tried to commit suicide, or something. I
think the big twist was supposed to be the fake reporter.
Yes.
Being the copycat killer. I don't know. This is why I just was like, it's okay. And then, but one of the big discussion questions, which I love because everyone had a different opinion on it, was because from the dad's perspective, he took the fall for his serial killer son. Yes. And the question was like, to what end do you protect your kid?
Yes.
Which we've talked about on here on Your Honor. Your Honor was a Netflix show, just to quickly recap, that the son accidentally did a hit and run. He didn't run on purpose, but he was a teenager who was 16. He didn't know what to do.
Than being a serial killer.
Yes. And the dad like protected him in that situation. But then in this one, it was the dad who knew, and the mom knew what the son did as a serial killer. And the dad still went to jail for the rest of his life to cover up his crimes.
Yeah. So it was funny. And we realized a correlation that the people that only had one kid were a lot less or a lot more hesitant to say, yes, my kid would go to jail. And the people with multiple kids were like, no, that's go to jail. So I just thought that was a funny, like,
I thought it was too.
Funny, like, data comparison, But
the two people in the room, that had one kid, and someone else.
Me and Bianca, we were like, I don't know.
You're like, well, I would go to jail with him. Literally. Like, you guys were trying to find a way for it. And I was like, no. And it's so black and white to me. And I made a joke. I was like, well, total joke. But it was like, I'll still have one kid. Yeah. But, no, well, it is a different perspective whenever it's like that is your one and only. What do you do in that situation?
But then, like what I was saying it at book club, like just trying to defend myself because it's not good to say that you would like cover up for your kid. I would not go to jail and let Fielding, if he was please God don't let this happen. If my child was a serial killer, I would not be like, peace, I'm going to jail. Good luck. Don't kill anybody else.
That was my point, because you're enabling him to do it again. And it's not you.
No. Okay. The people in the book. Yeah, no. That is like negligent to me.
Yes.
But I said also, if I have a kid that is killing other humans, like I have done something profoundly wrong as a parent. So and that's just like how I view life. Everyone's different, but I messed up so badly that like I have to pay the price too.
So you need to go with him.
Something like that, or like, oh, I'm gonna imprison both of us, or I'm just gonna like familial side.
Oh yeah, no, you did say like, I'm gonna get him in your basement. And I was like, what? That's the solution.
I'll put him in my basement so I don't, and I'll be like, he went missing, and then I can still have access to him and be his friend. And yeah, I don't know. It's complex. I think it would be very challenging to look at myself as a parent if my child was doing something that crazy and like had a proclivity for something that awful and evil. I don't know what you do, but you certainly don't leave them and say, hopefully you don't do it again.
Yeah.
That was the dumb part.
Which will leave us to be continued to another
Yes,
discussion.
I know.
So excited to discuss adolescence on
Yes.
our next little episode that we're going to do.
Yes. So exciting. But yeah, so overall, I think I rated the book a 3.
Yeah.
It was fine. I feel like it wanted to do something.
It couldn't quite get there because I think
Yes.
it tried to do too many twists and turns to like keep you guessing the whole time. But there were too many unturned stones in the book, and not even necessarily unturned. I guess that's the wrong word. I wanted more depth.
That's what we all said.
I wanted more depth to it.
More. Give us more character development, more background, more story. They never found the bodies of the girls. And like, I know this is morbid, but I want like the grisly details. That's what makes those types of books. Like if you like listening to true crime, you're not just like, and the girls were dead.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you want to know like
What
answers.
happened? You need
What
a
happened?
conclusion.
And Chloe at the end like thinks she knows where the bodies are on the property, but they never say definitively if they found them or not.
Well, and I totally missed that part. Like,
but because it was very quick.
They were like, I think I fell asleep during that part. It might have been Olivia. I don't know. Someone said that, and I was like, well, me too, because
Literally.
I completely missed that she said that the bodies might be in this cave. But that was so quick. But that's because there was no depth to these big events.
Yes.
But guess what? There will be depth in The Nightingale,
Yes.
which is our next book. And only 2 of us, so myself and one other person in our book club.
Anna.
Anna, we've read The Nightingale, but both of us, like whenever kind of doing our vote, we're like, we'll read it again. It's fine.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I haven't read it in like maybe 2 years now. And so I'm ready.
Yeah, she said it had been a while for her too. And then Mary Elizabeth she texted me today actually and said, hey, I read The Nightingale, but I'm so pumped. Like, I'm in.
Okay.
So I'm excited. So yeah, the theme, we're trying to pick like a theme for each month. And I was like, let's get a book that makes us cry.
April showers is
April
what you said.
showers. April showers. We're crying. Showers out of our eyes. And so everyone's like, The Nightingale. I think it was in there 3 times.
Well, if you have not read it, it's by Kristin Hannah, and I'll go on about her all day. You have heard if you've listened to any episode I've talked about her, but The Nightingale is one of the most powerful books you will ever read, and especially because like I love World War II, like Holocaust, like that time period has always really fascinated me even since I was little. And so reading a book about that, and then like one of my also top books by her is definitely The Women. Like that is like top 3. Like I love The Nightingale. The Women is probably in my like top 3 favorite books of all times. But The Nightingale is so powerful. Like we will have so much to dive into. We'll probably all be crying at book club.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
It's so good.
Well,
so I'm really excited.
I'm excited too because you and my mom have been trying to get me to read this book for like 2 years, and it just, I don't know why I haven't picked it up at any point, but it just hasn't happened. And so I'm like really excited that I get to do this with people. So yeah, Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. That's going to be our April book. Unfortunately, April ends in the middle of the week, so I think our book club episode will be in the beginning of May.
Yeah.
But that's just a heads up. Some bookkeeping information added to your calendars,
Check.
the drill. But another question we asked at book club was, who was the worst character?
Ooh, yes. And you said the mom, right?
I said the mom.
I said the dad because I said he was willing to take the fall. And I didn't even think about, which once you said it, I totally agree, the mom being the worst character because she stayed silent. And then she tried to, like, it ate her alive so much that, like, she tried to sadly, like, end her life. But
I think it wasn't even that much time had passed from when the dad went away.
So
it was within the year, I think.
Yeah. Instead of,
and
I
like,
don't know.
She knew that her husband took the fall for her son.
She stayed quiet about it.
She stayed quiet about it, which, like, that's its own, I would be mad about that regardless. But you know that, and then you're going to make it where you can't take care of your own children.
Yeah.
And you're leaving your daughter with her brother who
is a serial killer,
killed girls her age. And, like, sure, he hasn't hurt her yet, but, like, what is your idea and thought, like, turn your son in first. I don't know, that it was just like selfish and stupid to me. And like, I don't feel that way about like that topic all the time. Like, I think people definitely get to dark places.
Yeah,
I think just from a character standpoint, I was like, you suck. Like, you're the worst that you're going to leave your daughter.
Well, it was the abandonment of her daughter that her job was to protect her and she failed.
She didn't protect her son from himself. She didn't protect her daughter from her son or what she was going to grow up to be. It was just like I felt really bad for her. Because really they chose the brother over her in a lot of ways, like emotionally. And so I don't know. It was fine. In the end, like Daniel and Chloe were broken up, but it kind of, I feel like, was alluding to them maybe getting back together.
And everyone wanted an ending on that too. Yeah. They were like, why would they like just not show us that they got back together? Because Daniel like obviously cared very deeply for her. Right. So she just didn't know how to receive that because of everything. But also, don't be a therapist if you have loads full of trauma. Literally. Please get that taken care of before you go. Or
try your best.
Try to be a therapist. Like,
seriously.
Like, we're never gonna be perfect, but like maybe not be popping pills. Like, while you're a therapist.
I don't want advice for my teenage daughter from a drug addict. Yeah. Like, no thanks. Yeah, so it was fine. Won't be reading again. But whatever.
Yeah, we did it.
It was fine.
We did it.
It was fun.
Go team, go. Whoops, that was my phone. All right, on that note, let's wrap her up and boot, scoot, and boogie to the next part. All right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.